this debate was incredible. You guys all watch it?
Absolutely. It was like watching a chapter of The Bickersons, a famous TV series.
You know, you had a hard time watching it.
The mutual contempt these two have for each other at this stage is off the charts.
I agree that it was Bernie's last stand, and he had to go tough, and he did. But he made some really good. I mean, it's going to be very difficult for her to navigate trying to keep his supporters if she continues on the winning streak that she appears to be on. I don't know what his path is, but boy, he pounded some serious issues last night.
It was back and forth. I don't think there's one person, if you were a Hillary supporter, you
loved what you heard. I agree.
If you were a Bernie supporter, there was not one vote that changed last night.
I kind of thought he would be weaker on foreign policy and he'd be weaker on some issues and there'd be more of a difference between them. They both were tough.
Yeah.
Just days ahead of the New York primary, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders faced off in a fiery debate last night in Brooklyn, just miles away from the center of the financial universe. The issue of Wall Street took center stage. Things got heated early when Senator was asked to name one decision Secretary Clinton made as senator that showed she favored the banks because of money she received from them. And Clinton was asked why she won't just release the transcripts of those paid speeches and put the issue to rest.
There are certain expectations when you run for president. This is a new one. And I've said, if everybody agrees to do it, because there are speeches for money on the other side, I know that. But I will tell you this, there is a long-standing expectation that everybody running release their tax returns. And you can go to my website and see 8 years of tax returns, and I've released 30 years of tax returns. And I think every candidate, including Senator Sanders and Donald Trump, should do the same.
You're running now for the Democratic nomination.
Right.
And it is your Democratic opponent and many Democratic voters who want to see those transcripts. It's not about the Republicans at this point.
Let's set the same standard for everybody. When everybody does it, okay, I will do it. But let's set and expect the same standard on tax returns. Everybody does it, and then we move forward.
So she'll do it when Ted Cruz releases his speeches? That is just not, you guys, come on. Does anyone want to do?
I just think, I'm going to say it again, this speech thing is so irrelevant. People give speeches. When you're in an audience, you kind of somehow engage that audience and say, hey, I love Wall Street. That's just grown-up stuff.
You do that? That's what you do?
By the way, if you gave a speech, okay, right now, if you gave a speech to your raison d'etre is women's rights and all that stuff. If you gave a speech to a group of 500 men, well, you're an example. You'd be screaming at them, so that's a bad example. But you would say, you know, hey guys, I'm so happy to be with you guys. I mean, it's just speech. It's such a non-issue.
It's actually not true. I actually was brought in to talk about my book, Know Your Value, to a bunch of CEOs, and I believe a lot of them were in the banking industry or whatever, talking about how women navigate. And I talked about how much I liked Elizabeth Warren, and I got booed. You're not going to find a different me in that room.
It's not a different me. It's just you frame a speech. It's just grown-up stuff.
No,
this is not,
actually.
Yes, it
she
really
knew
is.
she was going to run for president and I felt the need to make the money or what, but let us see the speeches. Let us see the speeches.
Let's go to ringside. These two guys were at ringside last night. Mark Halperin, your take.
On the question of the speech transcripts?
No, the whole mess.
I'm saying on the question of the speech transcripts, minimum wage, Social Security, she gave answers last night that Bernie Sanders, if he were a skilled debater, could take advantage of. He's proven to be a great candidate building crowds,
a feisty candidate,
raising money,
yes,
giving a speech that fires up a crowd, appealing and energizing young people. He has not proven after 9 contests to be a good debater. A skilled debater would have taken advantage of many openings she left last night, and he didn't.
For instance,
her answer on Social Security was waffling. Her answer on whether she supported a $15 minimum wage was waffling. Didn't pin her down.
Better one. She asked him specifically to name one instance where she had been compromised by contributions, and he notably failed to do it. But we've actually played a videotape of one of those instances on this show. It involves Elizabeth Warren talking about a bankruptcy bill that Hillary Clinton did flip on.
Yes.
A skilled politician, to Mark's point, would have had that in the back of his memory and put it out there in the moment. But for some reason, he whiffed on that. I happen to think Bernie had the better debate last night. I think he did get at her on a number of fronts, all of which you mentioned. I just think it was the type of debate that moved the dial in a way to overcome
the
that
audience was with him, and she kept at it. She kept herself together and moving forward. She was strong. But